Oh, shit.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 2 of season 3 NFL Turf Talk here on DSM Media's Twitter channel and the DSM Media Turf Talk YouTube channel. So, guys, do us a favor. First and foremost, head on over to Twitter at DSM_Media is where you can find us. Make sure to hit that follow button. And then most importantly, check out the link tree in our bio. It'll take you to every social media platform we're on: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all that good stuff. But make sure to check out the YouTube links specifically. And for this channel, make sure to check out the Turf Talk channel. Hit subscribe, share it with your friends, family, any NFL football fans that you may know of that could enjoy the content. I'm one half your host, Dylan Davis. To my right, my faithful co-host, Scotty. Today, we are previewing and breaking down the NFC South division. Not the most exciting division, Scotty, nor was yesterday's AFC South division, but we're going to get these out of the way in the dog days of summer. That way we can build up to some more exciting topics, some more exciting division battles. Nonetheless, we've had some movement. Couple high draft picks go in this division. We're going to get into where they fit in the NFL tier rankings later on in the show. We're going to do our fantasy draft at the end of the show. So, guys, make sure to stay tuned for all the topics today. But, my man, happy Thursday. We got preseason football tonight. What is going on?
Happy Thursday, my man. Happy to be here once again. Obviously, we got one addition in. I guess it aired earlier today, but
Yes.
got it in yesterday nonetheless. Yeah, we're pushing these out. This is not one of the fun divisions, but at least there's some young controversy that we can get into a bit here, and then I think we got one legitimate contender, maybe legitimate. I guess we'll discuss that at the end as well. But yeah, I'm happy to be here, man. I'm excited to get to the next couple divisions. I won't lie to you, but we'll entertain the NFC South fans for now and talk about their teams a little bit here, man. Where do you want to start?
Let's start at the top, like yesterday, because I feel like this division, they're both the South. I feel like this division is very similar to its AFC counterpart, in which you have one team that was a 10-win team last year, a playoff team. They're in that playoff contender mix, and they kind of lead the conversation here. And then you kind of get down to an average to slightly below average. They could be slightly above average depending on the quarterback play this year. And then you have two pretty bad teams that have some young quarterback play going on. Very similar to its counterpart in the AFC South yesterday. Let's start with the Bucs. Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin starting the year out, but hopefully we'll see whenever he returns. That defense, Vita Vea anchoring it in the middle. This is the Bucs division yet again, right? I'm not going to get snuck up on by Michael Penix. I don't think Spencer Rattler's coming out of the woodwork with that roster and making a push. Bryce Young finished the year very well at the end of last season, which you're going to talk about during the show. But this is Baker's division, correct?
Yeah. I think this has got to be looked at as the Bucs leading the way going into the season here. You look at what they were able to do last year in a season where I was kind of in between on them. We didn't really know what we were going to get out of Baker Mayfield on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It turned out to be a great mix. A guy that's willing to take risks actually works out perfectly with a guy that's willing to capitalize on jump balls and make big plays in the end zone like Mike Evans. So they were a perfect fit. Chris Godwin's going to be a little slow to get back coming off the injury himself, but he was killing it in the slot before he got injured and went out for the season last season. And then they bring in the rookie, Egbuka from Ohio State.
Yep.
Was it top 20? Was it top 20?
Yes, I believe so.
Top 15? It doesn't matter. He's a first-round draft pick. He was one of the first wide receivers taken in the draft, and highly regarded coming out of Ohio State. So he'll get an opportunity with Chris Godwin starting the year slow. He'll get an opportunity to get integrated from early on in the season. And then they, kind of went with like the two-headed running back as well last year, which is kind of a going trend around the league, I should say. Bucky Irving, Rashad White, they got a young guy in Sean Tucker at the third string, so they'll mix it up there. It ultimately does. It comes down to Baker Mayfield, and I think the difference this season is that Baker Mayfield's earned a little bit of trust, I feel like, especially in that offense with those players around him.
Right, man?
Yeah, I think especially when you look at where their counterparts, which you have to look at, the Browns, where Baker Mayfield came from, right? I know he had some stops in between there, but the Browns are the ones that gave up on Baker Mayfield as a franchise quarterback. And he's gone back down to Tampa Bay, found a system he likes, found a system he fits in, and it's worked out really well. I think the thing that they've been able to lean on the last couple seasons to keep an identity is their defense. With the head coach, it's slipping my mind right now. Can you remind me the head coach? Todd Bowles. He's our arch nemesis in Philly, so I should have his name written on a chalkboard somewhere. But no, Todd Bowles, he's stapled in the identity of this team is going to be defense. It's going to be hard nosed. You're going to have to come down there early season in that hot weather and struggle down there. They got a good solid team. I think the bigger thing is this division. And yes, I would say
correct.
I would call it a stronghold. I would call it a stronghold. It wasn't last year, right? So I think that's take that with a grain of salt. They were 10-7 last year. I think the Falcons finished 8-9. They were second. So stronghold, two wins difference, but I think they'll be able to kind of continue what they picked up last year and add on to that this year. They've added guys like Hassan Reddick through free agency. Anthony Walker
still very good.
Secondary is still very good. They added a Sterling Shepard, which we're familiar with, but no, I like what the Bucs are doing. I think they added perfectly, and we'll see what they got this year. But I trust them in this division for sure.
I agree. When you say the word trust, man, the first name you brought up, Baker Mayfield, the journey that this dude's been on. You mentioned starting with Cleveland, gets Cleveland to its first playoff game in however many years, 2 decades, whatever the hell it was at that time. And they did give up on him. And then he kind of becomes a journeyman. I think he had a stop in Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. And then we all remember
Carolina and LA. I believe he was in the Rams.
3 years ago, he signed with the Rams on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then started a Thursday night football game and led a game-winning drive.
Yeah.
In a Thursday night football game. And ever since then, the story of Baker Mayfield has taken over. And since he's arrived in Tampa Bay with one of the, if we're being honest, one of the best wide receivers ever, Mike Evans just does it consistently year in and year out. Yeah. And you get some weapons around him. Chris Godwin's just Mr. Consistency all around in the slot. They do have a balanced rushing attack now. Baker Mayfield is a top 10 quarterback. Back end of the top 10 if he's in there, right? Yeah. But he's certainly put into that conversation, which he was almost ran out of the league a couple years ago. So it starts with Baker, but then it's Todd Bowles and that defensive identity. And I think that's where this team kind of takes a stranglehold on this division, because when you look around, you're going to play each of these teams twice, right? And you look at Carolina. Is there a matchup you see Carolina sneaking out against this defense? The Saints with Spencer Rattler. Do you think Spencer Rattler's beating this defense at any point in time? Maybe Atlanta splits with them, but you're talking 5 to 6 wins alone in the NFC South for my money, for Baker Mayfield and this Bucs team. And that's just what starts to add up. So it's a combination of Baker, it's a combination of Bowles in this defense. But then, like you said, it's just truly how bad this division is. Right?
Yeah.
It's similar to CJ Stroud and DeMeco Ryans in Houston. You have a team last year was Indy that maybe could compete, has quarterback issues, just like this, like Atlanta has quarterback issues. And then you have 2 bad teams that you're going to beat up on throughout the year. So, yeah, this division starts and ends with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for me, man, which we get to go play them again in Tampa Bay. Somehow, for the umpteenth time in a row, we go to Tampa Bay when it's going to be blistering effing hot out and guys are going to be throwing up on the sideline. And they'll beat us, I'm sure.
How convenient.
That's the storyline we're looking at. And then they'll beat us and Philadelphia will freak out again. But
no
it starts with the Bucs.
They were 4-2 against their division last year, to just help your point there. So last year they dominated the division. I mean, them in Atlanta, they ran the division. Atlanta was 4-2 last year as well. I think we're on the same page with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, my man.
To get to Atlanta, you mentioned that's that team. That's that fringe team that last year with that money that they put into Kirk Cousins' pocket, they thought they had it figured out. And that you have a Bijan Robinson, and they really like Drake London. And maybe this is the year Kyle Pitts puts it all together. They have a Jesse Bates in the back end. That secondary is really, really good, Scotty.
Yeah.
They just couldn't seem to put it together, and Kirk Cousins was a train wreck. And if you go onto the Atlanta Falcons depth chart right now, and all the rumors seem to be throughout the offseason, is that this is now Michael Penix's job, which that's another rabbit hole we didn't go down was that they drafted Michael Penix last year in the first round after signing Kirk Cousins to that shit ton of money. This Falcons team is the same as the Indianapolis Colts team. I don't really know that they have a direction. There's nothing positive you can look at for this year. I don't think this team's going to come out and win 9-10 games and compete for a wild card spot. And then the future, right? Like Kirk clearly isn't the guy. You're strapped to him for a lot of money. And if Penix doesn't turn out to be the guy, you're back to square one. So I don't like the direction that the Atlanta Falcons are in right now.
Yeah, no, as I was listening to you, because we talked a little bit before the show. We talked a lot about the Panthers, talked a little bit about the Falcons. I thought you were going to be a little bit higher on the Falcons than I am. And no, I think we're on the same exact page. I think I may just be a little bit higher on the Panthers than you are on the Panthers, but I think we're on the same page with the Falcons. I think they are this fringe team that they showed last year, an 7-8 win team in this division, right? Who could, maybe squeak in that 7th wild card spot, that 7th seed into the postseason. Maybe, man. But I do agree with you. I think they're in the same exact boat as the Indianapolis Colts, who we talked about yesterday. And it was just so funny hearing that come out of your mouth, because even this thing that I'm about to say right now with Michael Penix Jr. is the same way I feel about the Colts. It's like, if they can put themselves into this like niche style offense of dual threat quarterback and awesome running back in the backfield, and try to make something adequate of that to pair along with a good to great defense. I will say this, Atlanta, they look to have a better defense than the Colts, though.
Yes,
more star power by far. And to your point, that secondary, they're pretty stacked in the secondary. So I do like what they have going on defensively. I'm intrigued is the wrong word. I'm not intrigued. I feel like intrigued says that I'm in like some positive light looking at this situation with the quarterback. No, it's a completely unknown. And I think that is almost more of a benefit than Kirk Cousins, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But I guess it's an unknown, so maybe it's better than Kirk Cousins, right? Like that's what an unknown is, and I think maybe that's the positive that I'm pulling out of it.
I would totally agree. I just think that's a positive in itself, that you are giving the reins to the younger kid. It could have more upside, right? You know what you're getting out of Kirk Cousins to this point, but it's the direction in which management takes this roster. The same kind of way with the Colts, with Jacksonville, who's in that no man's land territory as well, where like, yes, you're doing the right thing by giving Penix the reins right now.
Right.
But you did the wrong thing from the jump by paying an aging, injured Kirk Cousins all that money.
Right.
You're hamstringing yourself. And then you confused everybody by drafting the kid after you paid Kirk Cousins. So did you pay Kirk Cousins and immediately go, uh-oh, like we got to figure out plan B here. And then, so it's just the direction that they're in. I don't think they're being run as a winning organization.
I feel that. And what I was going to look was, I just wanted to see how many wins they had before they benched Kirk Cousins last year. And it looks like
they beat us, man. They beat us.
They did beat us. Yeah, I think they went 1-5. No, excuse me, no. They went 1-2 with Michael Penix Jr. I was looking at preseason underneath that. Okay. But yeah, 1-2 at the end of the season with Michael Penix Jr. So that means they got 7 of their. They went 8-9 last year. 7 of their 8 wins came with Kirk Cousins at the helm. So once again,
the point in time where it started to get messy, right? Like just week after week, Kirk was having a ridiculous turnover, a pick six, just a stupid decision, and it just piled up to where
he got benched in a win.
Yeah, yes,
against the Raiders. Yeah, he only had 112.
Keep trotting him out there.
Yeah, you got to try something new, and I think that's maybe what they're going with. Let's make our defense better, right? Yeah. Let's get that lockdown. And let's just see if this quarterback can be a ceiling raiser with this group.
For fantasy purposes, can we know the game plan with Bijan Robinson? Because is it me? And I'm not seeing a lot of Atlanta Falcons football. All right. I'm watching the Eagles, and then when they're not on, the red zone's on. But like, whenever I do see it, whenever I check the box score, there's a lot of Tyler Algier. There's the one game where Bijan played like 2 snaps, and he was just standing next to the head coach for half the game.
Baffling.
People were freaking out. So like, can we just use the young talent if you're an Atlanta Falcons personnel properly?
I would love to see it. I would love to see it, man. And
it's going to be the year of Kyle Pitts. Remember that.
We'll see, man. That's the thing. We've been waiting for a while. But no, I think Bijan, Drake London is a legitimate top 30, top 25 wide receiver.
I'm glad you said that.
I've expanded the entry level of the wide receivers. 25 is the new 15. It's the new 10, basically.
Let me tell you, because speaking of their counterpart in the AFC South, like I view Drake London in the same light as Michael Pittman Jr. Like they're both their team's number ones, and I don't care for either one.
Yeah. You know what?
If I'm being honest, I think Drake London's a little better. But
yeah, I do agree. I think he's like untapped.
Same kind of light.
Drake London's a little untapped so far. I think he could be better. Because what I was about to say, I just didn't want to sound like blasphemous. But Drake London, he's 24 right now. He's 6'4", 215. What is Mike Evans? Like, what are his physical attributes? Because he does have a nice physique for wide receiver, man. He's built nice for wide receiver, so he could turn into something. He could turn into something more. I agree. I think we should be a little higher on him than Michael Pittman, but I do get your point as far as production, the way it looks in the system. I do agree.
And I think it's just the wide receiver one, right? Like,
not a wide receiver one.
They would be the game's best wide receiver two. Like if he was wide receiver two somewhere, he'd be the game's like second best wide receiver two. But him being Atlanta's wide receiver one, it downplays the overall offense for me.
Yeah.
There are people, and that's why, like, I'm so happy that you were like, oh, he's like top 30, top 25. Look, if we went there and broke it down, maybe he's like top 20. I don't know all the
maybe
have to go through. But my point is, like, there are so many people that have different podcasts, so many clips I see on TikTok of content creators, and they're talking about these duos or trios or whatever around the NFL, and you'll just say, oh, he's top 10. Guys, there's only 10 spots.
I know. Yeah.
So, like, how many guys are top 10 at a position?
Let me throw this to you, man. Because, I'll be honest, I didn't look at his numbers too closely. I mean, since last season. 100 receptions last year. That's tied for 9th. 1,271 receiving yards. That's 4th. 9 touchdowns, tied for 9th. Those are all top 10 numbers. Like, trust me, I'm not getting ahead of myself. I'm not saying that he is, but it's interesting. It's interesting when you do look at the numbers, because I definitely didn't.
I'll put it to you.
I didn't think he had those numbers.
Neither did I, but I'll put it to you this way. If I am an opposing defense, if I'm an opposing defensive coordinator, Drake London does not strike the fear in me that 17 other guys across the league, I would game plan for.
I think that's fair.
When I watch a game, right? Let's say it's primetime football and it's the Falcons versus whoever. All eyes are not just on Drake London. Well, it's not like, Drake London's on the field right now. Like you just don't get that. So
No, I do feel you there. At the end of the day, let's just see. Let's see what he looks like with Michael Penix Jr. Can he be a ceiling raiser for Michael Penix Jr.? Can he help him get acclimated and play right this year? So it'll be interesting. I think the way we're talking about them, they're just exactly what you said at the beginning, man, is just right smack dab in like the middle. And that's just not ultimately where you want to be. I feel like I guess that's a conversation for another day, like versus the NBA, where you really do want to be at the bottom if you're gonna not be in the playoff, like not be at the top of the seeding in the playoffs. Is that what the NFL is like becoming? Like I don't want to go that far, but
it depends what you're in the market for. Obviously, like if you want that, but again, like how many of those
quarterback
guys,
though, right? It's the quarterback. At the end of the day, that's kind of what puts you in no man's land, per se, is
Right.
not having a direction, which means you most likely don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, correct.
So,
like we're like when we talk to the AFC East, which you brought up to me before the show, like Drake May, that's going to be a question for New England. New England's not a very good football team right now, but if Drake May is the answer in the future, now over the next 2 to 3 years, they can start to build around the Drake May future.
Yeah.
That's what some of these teams have to figure out. A la the next team that's in this division, the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young, you and I, like you mentioned earlier, we're kind of on different platforms here. So when we get to the tiers, you guys will kind of understand what we're talking about here. I am not high on the Carolina Panthers at all. I know you're not either. Scotty's slightly higher because of the quarterback. We're going to find out. This is the year that Bryce Young has to prove it, right?
Yeah.
My question is, does he have enough? Is there enough around him? An aging Adam Thielen, Chuba Hubbard's fine in the backfield. What do they got? An Xavier Legette. I know they drafted the kid McMillan or whatever in like the top 8 or top 9 of this year's draft. So maybe he steps in and he's like a true wide receiver 1 this year. Is there enough for Bryce Young to be productive? Is that offensive line good enough? Is that defense okay enough not to get slaughtered each and every week and put them in a hole?
Yeah, no, I think that is. I think those are fair questions all across the board, and I think that is where we can agree at the baseline. I think where I come in a little bit higher is just with Bryce Young and what he started to look like towards the end of last season. Now, this offseason has been very perplexing as an Eagles fan analyzing other players because you've seen the accounts, I'm sure, posing Bryce Young up against Jalen Hurts, for God's sake. And that's the type of stuff that will turn you off to Bryce Young and make you want to go down the negative rabbit hole of Bryce Young and what ties in with him. But I do look at towards the end of the season, he got a little bit more reign with the offense. I feel like he got a little bit more control. He got to use his legs a little bit more freely, right? Take the restraints, take the seatbelt off of the player and see what you can get, especially in a season where there's nothing else to gain. You have to
lose. There's nothing to lose.
I look at this last matchup, man. There was a couple matchups down the stretch where he got over 200 passing yards, multiple passing touchdowns. This last matchup against Atlanta, he went 25 for 34, 251 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And like, it's not to say like he's gonna be that guy.
Yeah.
It just gives you a little bit of optimism, a little bit of hope that maybe he can show you something this year. Yeah. But, I mean, we talked a good bit about this before the show just because we were creating our tiers for the show. And I fluctuate between stinking and better than last year with this team. And I know we ultimately ended up with better than last year. I think that, for me, is simply Bryce Young being able to work the offense, look competent. I think that's the big thing. Better. Yeah, look like a professional quarterback because, to your point, we can't ask him to like go and compete for the playoffs or go and grab 8 wins this year with the talent around him. Like, there's a lot of young talent, but there's a lot of question marks as well. I do like some of the things they did defensively. I mean, they shored up a lot of their young talent. They got J.C. Horn locked in. They did bring in Trayvon Moehrig, the safety from Las Vegas, Bobby Brown, defensive lineman, Tershawn Wharton, defensive lineman, Patrick Jones, edge. So they're trying to go for like these, I don't want to call them middle age, like in that, fresh off the rookie contract, transitioning into that next part of their career. They grabbed a bunch of guys like that out of the free agency on the defensive side of the ball, which just shows me they're trying to go a little bit more youthful on that side of the ball where they do have some of their staples there as well. So I think their defense could be all right. They could be all right. But yeah, I fluctuate back and forth, man. I think I am closer to you as we talk through it than I thought, but I could see them sneaking up on the Falcons. I really could see it. I could see it, but that is the big question marks that we've talked about on the show. That's Michael Penix not fulfilling whatever it is that we think he should be able to do this year versus Bryce Young fulfilling. So, obviously it comes down to opinion. It comes down to analyzation. I am a little bit higher on the Panthers this year, They're kind of a sleeper team, but they could end up with 3 wins. You know what I mean? Like it's so hard. Like
right.
How many wins into the division do they get?
So we can get into the tier list now because I don't have anything to say about this last team because here's the reason. I'll stick with what we have because I do agree with you. If you better than last year means if you were bad, really bad last year, can you improve? If you were, way below average, can you improve slightly? Whatever.
Right.
Stinks is you were already bad, and I think you're going to be the same or worse. That's what stinks means. So here's our tier list. We obviously started with the AFC South yesterday, so those 4 teams are on here, now accompanied by the NFC South teams. As you can see, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers joining the Texans as playoff contenders. We have the Falcons joining the Colts and the Jags in no man's land. No real direction with those teams. Yeah. Anywhere between 7, 8, and 9 wins. I guess you could say a 9-win team in the NFC might be a playoff team, but that's not what I mean by this list. Better than last year. We do have Carolina in that grouping, right? They were a bad team last year. Can Bryce Young win 5 or 6, 5 games again, maybe win 6? That would put them into the better than last year category. Yeah. And then stinks. That would be the New Orleans Saints. There's not many teams that are going to find their way into stinks, Scotty. See that's in all caps as well. The rest isn't in all caps. Stinks is in all caps. This New Orleans Saints team absolutely reeks. They were already very bad. Derek Carr retires. Spencer Rattler is now officially the guy on the depth chart leading the way. Alvin Kamara is still there. Chris Olave is still there. They got the speedster and Rashid Shaheed. The tight end, what's his name?
Juwan Johnson.
He's still there. All the pieces from their offense are essentially still there, except there's one major flaw. The most important position in all of sports.
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler doesn't get it done. The defense isn't going to get it done. It's not the same old defense as when Drew Brees was there and they were making noise in that dome. This team is really bad, Scotty. So I don't really have much else to say about them. Spencer Rattler, hate to be an asshole, I don't think it's going to have a very long career in the National Football League. So,
yeah. I'm not a big fan. They drafted that one guy as a Tyler Shove.
Sure.
Shove, however you say it.
I don't
know. They brought in Brandon Cooks. That's a familiar face. Justin Reed chose the Saints over the Eagles apparently, which is interesting. You had Tyrann Mathieu retire after last year. That's how bad last year was. Derek Carr retired as well. I'm with you, man. You bring back a Cam Jordan. He's old as dirt. I mean, maybe he can still produce. You give a bunch of money to Chase Young. This is a team like, no man's land, sure, but they fucking stink. Yeah. I think that's what it comes down to. What I was thinking back to as you were speaking was like, didn't they start like 3-0 last year or something like that, and then we just smoked them in New Orleans, or maybe we didn't smoke them. Maybe we played them tough.
No, they started 2-0 or 3-0. They scored like 50 points in Jerry World and beat the shit out of the Cowboys. And people legitimately on ESPN and other networks were talking about this team being a playoff and Super Bowl contender. And then we walked in and no, it wasn't good. Like that was the game where I didn't want Nick Sirianni to come back to Philadelphia. Yeah. That was the game. Like he kept trying. Yeah. Remember, like he didn't kick the field goal and then he trotted Jake out there to kick a 60-yarder and he missed. And we had 3 points in the. We
did not have our identity at all.
Yeah. It took like a fourth and would it take like a 3rd and 25 to Goddard where like the Saints ran into each other on a crossing route. Goddard cut it upfield, and we got the win at the end. But that is essentially the struggling Eagles at the time turned their season around in New Orleans.
The stinky Saints.
And went on to only lose one more game the rest of the year.
Are they going to do the Taysom Hill thing again?
Is he even on the roster?
He's I think he's like injured to start the season. I think he's on the PUP list. Yeah. But it's just interesting. How do you feel just before we move on? Because I know we don't want to spend too much time. Alvin Kamara, does he have anything left for you? Like,
Yeah.
Maybe on a different team. Maybe he could get
I mean, I
traded.
still think Alvin Kamara is still a good running back. I think Chris Olave is a really good wide receiver.
Yeah. Who's
They
going to
ain't
get
going
him
to
the
do
ball?
anything because they ain't got no one to give them the goddamn football this year. So, yeah. So this is where the tier rankings get us as we head into our next division following this one. But the Saints are going to be one of the worst teams in the National Football League for me.
Yeah, easily.
Put it as kindly as I can. All right, man. Let's get into what's supposed to be the most fun part of the show right now, but we'll see how this goes. If you guys don't know, whenever Scotty and I do these divisional breakdowns, we end it with a fantasy draft, a snake draft, back and forth picks, a quarterback, a running back, 2 wideouts, a tight end, 2 defensive linemen, a linebacker, a safety, and 2 corners. We'll take turns picking from players throughout the division, and then we'll post them to our social media pages throughout the summer and see who created the better teams. I believe, Scotty, you went first yesterday.
Yeah.
So, all right, I am on the clock. I think I just have to go and take what not only is important, but the biggest gap. And I'll take Baker.
Yeah, that's where I thought you would go.
I think it's the biggest gap.
I'm gonna try to be quick with this one.
Yeah.
Just because it's not worth me analyzing like this. I'm gonna go Bijan, running back.
All right, good pick. All right, now I guess with that said, Scotty, there are some talent, but I'm gonna take Mike Evans.
I feel that.
Get the connection.
Let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and take Drake London. Just get it out the way.
All right.
Damn, I'm going heavy Falcons already.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll package that. I'm going to go heavy offense as well, and I'm going to take Chris Olave.
Fair enough.
Get my wide receivers done.
Man, you know what? I'm gonna go Kyle Pitts. Because I was like, man,
who the
hell?
Falcons team, bro.
Who the hell? I just did that without even thinking about it again. Seriously, but it's like, who the hell is the tight ends in this division, man?
All right, I'm gonna go out and take Jesse Bates.
That was a good one. That's a good one. That is
another Falcon off the board.
By the way, you picked a safety, so it reminds me, man. CGJ carted off the field today. I saw that.
Really?
Update from Sleeper. Yeah. At the Texans. We talked about the Texans yesterday, so there's nowhere else we're going to insert that. All right, you went safety. Let me go Vita Vea on the defensive line.
All right. I'm going to stay with the Falcons. I want to take AJ Terrell.
Nice. Yeah. Man, yeah, I knew there was a corner I was forgetting about. I'm going to go to another team. I'm going to take JC Horn.
JC Horn. If you guys are wondering why I'm staring down, it's because I'm typing it.
Likewise.
In my notes. All right, so Scotty wanted Dean Lyman with Vita Vea.
Yeah.
Talk about falling off.
You know what position that I'm sleeping on in the NFL in general?
What's that?
The linebacker.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Feels like that position is just getting younger and younger. It's all about maximizing rookie contract.
Do I go there or do I go here? I'm going to take Leonard Floyd as my linebacker.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's getting slim pickings now, brother.
Yeah, because I'm just I'm trying to all right, let me just stick with what I know here for a second. Let me go ahead and take Derek Brown as my my other defensive lineman.
Gotcha.
Carolina.
All right. I will follow that up with I'm just going to take all of Atlanta secondary. I'm going to go with Mike Hughes as my other corner.
Fair.
Am I thinking of the correct Mike Hughes, the former Bengal?
Is he a former Bengal?
The former slot guy in Cincinnati?
Nah, Mike Hilton.
Mike Hilton, yeah.
Mike Hughes is solid, though. Mike Hughes is solid. Because I was actually considering him myself. Well, let me just make it quicker. Let me go ahead and grab my quarterback. I'll take Bryce Young.
All right. Let me go and look here. That's no bueno. All right, give me Kalijah Kancey on my line.
I like that. I am gonna go Antoine Winfield Jr. safety from the Bucs.
All right. Let me try to make this one quick. Give me you know what? Give me Bucky Irving.
Okay, yeah, nice physical runner. I feel it.
I'll take him over Kamara.
So you took Olave and you took Mike Evans.
Yes.
So that means, let me think here. It's got to be Chris Godwin. Yeah, let me just go Godwin.
Excuse me. Chris Godwin. All right. Give me the aging Cam Jordan.
Fair enough.
It's my other defensive lineman since it's slim pickings from the rest.
All right, let me get my linebacker. He's washed. I'm going to go Levante David. He's definitely washed. He was still productive last year, though. Old man.
And to wrap up my draft, give me Taysom Hill at the tight end position.
Hey, he is versatile, though, to be fair. He is versatile.
Spark plug. I'm going to run the Wildcat on you and all.
Chill out. All right, I need one more. I need a corner. I just need a corner to finish out here. Let me just go Kool-Aid. I'll stick with what I know.
Kool-Aid McKinstry?
Yeah.
Former Bama?
The team doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. But I guess when you're getting to pick the best of the best,
it's
different.
All right, so Baker and Bryce Young are going to battle it out.
That's the weakness of my squad. It's Bryce Young, and then you got Taysom Hill. That's the difference makers. Jesse Bates, though, that's one of the best players in the division for sure. You got him.
Had a snag like that. So we will get those posted to our Twitter, TikTok. We'll run a poll on YouTube as well. You guys can vote on them, comment, let us know what you think.
Yes, sir.
If we jacked up any of the picks, if you would have done anything differently, make sure to let us know. But as always, we appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a comment, like the video, and most importantly, subscribe to the Turf Talk YouTube channel.
Help us out.
Grow. And we'll be talking to you guys about the AFC North next.